going to read one long piece made up of many shorter pieces. This is called Destination Enclave, or Fucking Up a Viking Funeral. Now what, citizens? Embalmed in the center of the square, the more of a circle, more of an oblong, they built a flame and a circle of water for the founder of the institute, the one they'd gone to, that brought so much money to the town, that was now torn down for a different institute, commanded by different schools of learning. There had been a controversy. The paper ran a 5-part series, issues from which were origamied in tribute, floating on the water. It was a beautiful ceremony, but clear no one there, staring solemnly at the burning fountain, knew what a Viking funeral truly was. No pets. Alley cats never went feral, food at the doorstep. Frogs we caught by the stream, frogs we let go. Woods we dirtied our cuffs in, squirrels on limbs, rats we chased through the attic. What did we know? Please swipe left. Jenny dabs her eyes. Too much mascara. Not in California anymore, and each conversation is a Tinder scroll. Left for where you're from, for how long you've been. She'd not meant to get into online dating, but all the guys at the listed Seattle Met's cool restaurants for meeting singles had been on their phone all night anyway. Another day, another chunk of change. The vitamin D runs out at some point. Her smile paler by the day, confronting locals she could no longer assuredly distinguish herself from. 2-minute kid. In the dash between brick, alarm, and back through the window, he reaches a time-stop zen. Bottles of Crown, of Jameson, of Stoli into his backpack, floating over straw-crushed carpet. Cops don't care about a few missing bottles in the South End. Neither will his dad. Issues, literature. Rising rent! Gentrification! Increasing homogeneity! People pushed out! Art as bourgeois commerce! That one bar closing! The money! The money! The money! This is just what happens in cities. Where has the realness gone? There! Never let it be said that I failed to address these issues here, under the Space Needle, or at the bar, 5 tequilas deep, slur cursing the nearest friend within spitting distance. Porn. Phallic buildings, more and more. Someone commission a skywriter to draw some yonic clouds. My drinking problem, or what's mine is yours. Before Greenwood becomes Finney, but after Greenwood proper's downtown strip, a 2-story apartment building complex graffitied with the phrase, "My drinking problem." It lasted years. This wasn't a tag. It never appeared anywhere else. My drinking problem, in wide green and yellow lettering. One day a landlord, city worker, or perhaps the artist himself came by and pressure washed the wall. A very important conversation about tone. You'll never get published with those line breaks. I almost liked this band until I saw they were using a big muff. So play! Do you even know what school of poetics you're cribbing? Pathetic. The urge is to burn it all. Swing a fist. Throw a drink. Down a punt. Careen through the neighborhood like a flaming go-kart. Sputtering and leaking with a rage that only consumes itself. Retry at the ancient death cult. After the Viking funeral failed, there was a relaunch and a dialogue opened. How do we embrace our Norse heritage without being racist? What are we, Swedes? But the thing was, they were all dying and their daughters were moving to San Francisco. The destination enclave, the Scandinavian ghetto, was barely recognizable. When the sun is blocked by clouds and the clouds are blocked by cranes, the elder said, it's better to admit you've lost. He handed out a series of pamphlets, each more intricate than the last, with lettering too ornate to read, but plenty of illustrations of knives and fire, heritage instruction. The Institute had closed long ago, the founder's memory was cherished, but the ritual had been botched, and now they turned to history books for inspiration. When those fail, Prince Valiant comics. Oscar-winning speech. They made this town for epic confrontations, the nights before weddings, the nights before plane tickets, the nights before signing on or off. Run, newspaper hatted, shake, water streaming down our cheeks, a violin from somewhere. This does not, cannot change. The difference now is simply the height of the windows we jump out. If you're so smart, glass, cured wood, $9 side of fries. 3 representatives from Working People Against Racism meet potential donors at a bar they cannot afford. The donors are 10 minutes late. Each minute drops like a falling hair onto the oak floor. Sweat fingerprints on manila files. The song they used to like, now incessant, shrieking and repeating. There's money to be had, the grant counselor said, if you just go to where it is and project confidence. Finally, the meeting, friendly, understanding, kind. Another meeting gets scheduled because it would be great to talk more. The fry plate was generous, but not when split between 5 people. Hunger in the glossy part of town. Already here, what the fuck? Get more, put it on a card. We don't haiku like we used to. Bearded man passing, bearded man shudders, these beards for different reasons. Finally, Jenny's date showed up, and he looked normal. They shared duck skins, dated 2.5 years, broke up over chickpeas and rice, and she took a job in Columbus. When people asked her where she was from, she self-reminded to say Bakersfield, clouded by 3 years of gray. Jesus calls it even. The Different Institute, the one that had promised the town a new start based on fresh ideas, shut down in 2009. Much to the schadenfreude of the 8 remaining Scandinavian and proud, those the ritual hadn't taken. Opened in its place, just last year, the Joss Whedon School of Popular Beliefs, underwritten by the City Council. It holds meetings every Sunday at 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. for before or after brunch, where the rotating cast of Dr. Horrible animatronics lead sing-alongs. Everyone is handed a novelty muffin, and as you leave, Jeff Mangum sings a pretty little ditty about incest. Pilates, cleanses, happy hour. Each successive step up Marion, co-op groceries nestled in my arms as flowers turn to heat and heat to humidity, and finally the gray wet wash these streets get joked for. Pounding head and aching thighs, I knew we wouldn't make it in this city, so soft, so cold, so smugly precious. Matriarch. Gertrude Alice Crook. Moved from Grandview. Married in Seattle just after the war's end when Truman was still giving hell. 4 boys, 1 girl. Mariners washing, Jesus loving, nature painting, oils over acrylics. Stayed at home to cook until the last boy was grown, upon which she said she wouldn't do it anymore because she didn't like cooking. Merchant Marine Reserve offices downtown, preferred Glenn Miller to Benny Goodman, could stomach early Beatles but hated even the mention of Elvis, gave my bemused father a biography of Ronald Reagan in 2006, black coffee drinker from the 70s on, annoyed and amused by my grandfather's then my puns, lover of classical music, avid attendee of Advent Christian Church on 14th and Olive, where I spent my 4th year rolling down the slanted floor beneath the pews and slacks-clad legs of attendees. She taught me to love poetry first by reading me A.A. Milne, then teaching me to type through the words of Longfellow, Whitman, Kipling, whoever else was in 1001 Greatest Poems anthology, dated 1910. After the stroke, she spent the last years at a home in North Snohomish County where she kept track of the trees outside her window and all the birds that lived there. Last thing she said to me about a week before was, "Okay, Graham, see you soon." Fascinating larger global trends. Take a photo essay from Williamsburg, Logan Square, the Mission District, Montrose, Shoreditch, Echo Park, Canton, Alberta, Hawthorne, Pilsen, Gangnam, South Perry, Bushwick, East Van, Splot, Camden Town, South Street, comparing it now to 6-10 years ago. Blindfold, shuffle, and try and match all the befores and afters. This exercise teaches you that your friends have strange and terrifying eyebrows, and pickled eggs are underrated. Fashion and function. Screaming through the forest, chased by a knife-wielding maniac, her family in shreds throughout several other film strips, and all the crowd at monthly pizza and bad movies can think is, what a stupid dress! It's not impossible to find love in the rain, contrary to the slow finger drift into each other, a view from the ferry, a covered outdoor seating section. Sometimes the damp drives people together. You can't win a quiz. Fill out our quick survey. You are a blank generation occupant. You came here for jobs, scenery, music, books, an absence of friends or family, in sometime recent, sometime so long ago it feels like another life. Or your parents came here for airplanes, music, single-family occupancy, school. Or their parents and their parents came for gold, building rights, the absence of apartments, gold miners' money. Or further back, a generation arrived for the river. It's just where the land bridge took them. The absence of saber-toothed tigers. There are wrong answers. I told you it was a short pier. 1 foot in front of the other. 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 Square your jaw, shoulders back, chest out. 1 foot in front of the other. Other in front of the. These shoes have good soles. Eyes on the ring. No down, no backwards. 1 foot. 1 foot in front of the other. 1 foot in front of the other. More business than casual. More casual than the other toast. 1 foot. These pants are pleated. 1 foot. This cotton breeze. 1 foot. Now swim. The needle and the damage done. She memorized the drug anthologies from the 90s by title. Comics from Arc from Acolytes. Someone brand new to Pike Street brought an annotated zine with the lyrics to Heroin Girl penciled out around the pages. She remembers the day he came in shivering, and she didn't have the heart to mention to him that's actually Portland. It's all the same in these sodden anthologies, the etched eyes, the stories about abandoned parts of town, or the cute girl who first offered an easy blame. Light jazz through the stacks off the carpet. She has them memorized because she has to, and who else would? This used to be a 3-cat bookstore, but one of them went missing last year. The local interest section grows but doesn't sell. Another 300 pages from The Young and Hungry. The havoc the heroin epidemic wreaked on used bookstores' collections. This used to be a 4 employees on the floor, now 2 will do. These are easy to sort. A small yell, and she heads for the cat food. Stacks like skylines on the counter. I can't believe you've never heard of Power Clown. Yeah, they aren't really a band. I mean, they're kind of a band, but it's like this weird performance art thing, and it's just like so cool. Like, but it's like you really know that you're there. It's an experience. I saw them in the bathroom stall of a disused basement bar as part of a found art immersivity showcase called Fuck Off or Go Home. Yes, I know the name's redundant. The hope is to rise with it. Sometimes the crane that swings over Occidental frosted is picking me up, carrying me over my stumbles to a place looking similar in design, but much improved in function. Slap me if you've heard this one before. Aren't we waiting another 5 years for 808s to come back? I can't even hear the song for looking at the equipment. I can't even read the poem for searching through her credentials. Too educated or not enough. Tell me tales of the tea life in artisan baskets. No vexation without representation. To love a skyline without loving what it represents, the sprouting curves and sleek lines. To marvel at the cropping up, whole neighborhoods like glass mountains rising by the year, filtering the rainbows. To forget a moment who paid for what, or what bulldozed homes got weekly eulogies, to see it only for what it's sold as, possibility. My grandfather's trip from Wedgwood to the downtown law office would not be recognizable. My father, who used to drive me around telling me what things used to be, looks as new peaks are scaled, and with a mix of awe and sorrow, if my dad could see the city now. Seattle lowball. I mean, if you really want to go there, we can talk about flannel or whatever. It's cool. You're new. Bob Ross smiled. Those squirrels just grow up so fast. Just 4 months ago, they were hanging on your finger, eating from an eyedropper. Soon, you will send them out into the woods you paint, oils over acrylics, soft tapping the brushes in bursts of phthalo green and alizarin crimson, a mention of the days you'd hoped to be a portrait artist. Dip the brush in the paint thinner, then beat the devil out of it. Mother in Orlando, a father we don't hear about much, between fluffy little clouds and mighty oaks, but thank you for the cards upon your wife's casket. It hasn't been an easy life. The clopping sound of a knife on pallet, mixing up black gesso, Prussian blue mixed for stones beside the river. It hasn't always been easy. You nod, graze in your beard more than last season, but you inhale. This is our world. We can put whatever we like. This is our world. Might as well make it a happy one. The shakes. When the big one hits Seattle, and we are torn from concrete bridges, thrown out of lakeside homes and dropped into the middle of evergreen wreckage, everyone will say I told you so, and coffee will not be enough. A cherry blossom remembrance wreath. Should the seawall break, I will be thousands of miles away, munching foreign snacks in corner bakeries, when newspapers hover like metal vultures, or newscopters hover like metal vultures, and national anchors make clumsy coffee rain references, I can be there to tell those watching with me about the cherry trees, or Ethiopian food tucked behind repair stores. That the weather was also a comfort to those with it in their bones, for whom seasonal depression was another underdog arm wrestling match we could win. Tell them what every transplant wants to say about their home. Yes, you get it, but no, you really don't. Or I may still be here, praying for mercy on a city that won't leave me forever. The Space Needle curved but not demolished as we moved the telephone pole and aluminum to find bodies of programmers and winos crushed between the realtor's sign for completely modern urban living, fish and biscuits to whoever's left. Thank you.